Let's be real, public speaking can be absolutely terrifying. But what if you could take all that fear and turn it into actual power? Well, in this explainer, we're diving deep into Stewart Bewley's The Storytelling Hero. We're going to give you the tools to find your voice, conquer those inner fears, and, most importantly, tell the one story that only you can tell. So, let's get this adventure started. So, let's kick things off with this really powerful idea from researcher Brené Brown, which is a cornerstone of the book. This quote, it gets right to the heart of it all. It's not about ditching the facts and the data. It's about giving that data a soul, making it connect with people on a truly human level. Okay, check this out. This number might actually blow your mind. Based on some pretty famous research, when you're speaking, a staggering 55% of your communication isn't about your words. It's your body language. Just think about that. Over half of your message is being delivered before you even say a single word. And that brings us to our first big idea. Becoming a great speaker isn't about learning a few clever tricks. No, the book frames it as a journey, a hero's journey. It's an adventure you have to choose to go on to leave that, comfortable world of boring presentations behind and really discover the strengths you have inside you. And believe me, the stakes on this adventure are huge. Get this. Research from Stanford found that a story is 22 times more memorable than just a plain old fact. So if you actually want your message to stick, to land with your audience, you can't just throw information at them. You've got to wrap it in a story. Every hero's got to face a villain, right? And for a public speaker, the first dragon you have to slay is the one inside your own head. It's that little critical voice whispering doubts in your ear, usually right when you need to be confident. The book gives it a fantastic name, the gremlin. And this is a really cool bit of history. The term gremlin, it actually came from World War II pilots. They used it to describe these invisible little troublemakers who they blamed for messing up their planes. For us, it's that nagging voice, the one that tells you you're not important enough, or your story doesn't matter, or you're about to fall flat on your face. Psychologically, sure, it's your inner critic. But just giving it a name, that's the very first step to taking away its power. So, here's the key move, the real magic trick. You don't just try to ignore the gremlin, you have to actively rewrite its script. You take that negative accusation, that nasty little whisper, and you flip it. You turn it into a positive, powerful statement about your purpose. You're not defending yourself, you're declaring your mission. Okay, so you're starting to get a handle on that pesky inner critic. What's next? Well, now it's time to build the actual physical tools to project that confidence you're building. We're shifting from that internal battle to your external presence, the real nuts and bolts of your body, your breath, and your voice. And this brings us right back to that wild communication breakdown we talked about. Look at this. Body language is 55%. Your tone of voice, your tonality is 38%. You add those up, that's 93% of your impact. The actual words you pick, they're only 7%. This is exactly why an email can get so easily misread, right? You lose 93% of the message. So the first tool in your arsenal is this super simple but really powerful posture exercise called the string. When you do this, you're tapping into your body's muscle memory. It's a sense called proprioception, and you're basically training your body to stand tall and own the space. So even if you're not feeling confident, your body will remember what it feels like to be aligned and powerful. All right, next up, breathing. And this is so important. See, most of us adults, we breathe really shallowly, just from our chest. This exercise, it reconnects you with your diaphragm, which is literally the engine for a powerful, supported, and confident voice. It's all about unlocking this natural power source that you already have. All right, you've wrestled with the inner critic, you've got your body and breath aligned, now you need the secret weapon. You need a simple but incredibly powerful framework for structuring any story you want to tell. This is how you turn a random idea into a compelling story that actually sticks with people. And this framework, it's as easy to remember as PhD. Think of it like you're getting your PhD in storytelling. It breaks down into 3 absolutely essential parts. So let's dig into what each of those letters really means for you. First up, P is for picture. You got to remember, our brains think in images. They're wired for visuals. So when you use metaphors and analogies, like saying a slow project is like driving in the back streets instead of the Autobahn, you paint a picture. And that helps your audience follow along without even trying. It just makes things easier for their brains. Next, H is for headline, and this is all about respecting your audience's time and their attention span. You have to get to the main point quickly. Give them the most important piece of information right up front so they know exactly why they should bother listening to the rest. You know, journalists have this golden rule: don't bury the lead. It means don't save the most important part, the big takeaway, for the very end. Bewley actually suggests a really cool exercise. Take the last sentence of your talk, your conclusion, and try making it your very first sentence. Right away, your audience is thinking, whoa, how did we get there? And they're hooked. They have to listen to find out. And finally, we have D for detail. Now, this doesn't mean just dumping a list of facts on people. This is about adding texture, the stuff that makes a story feel real. And you do it with two main tools. First, context. That's the who, what, where, when. It paints the scene. And then you use contrast, the before versus the after, the problem versus the solution. This is where the drama is. It's the contrast that makes your message pop. Okay, you've faced down that inner gremlin. You've unlocked your physical voice. You've even earned your storytelling PhD. You have all the weapons you need. Now it's time to step into the dragon's lair and craft your own foundational story. And we can actually map this whole thing out using this classic framework. I mean, every great story, and that includes yours, follows this arc. You start out as a potential hero, you hit some challenges that knock you down into a pit of despair, but then you find the strength to slay that dragon, and you come back with the treasure, a new reality, a new lesson learned. So how do you actually build this thing? It's simpler than you think. You don't need to write a whole novel, just to find 6 key moments, or bubbles, that map out your journey. This example right here shows the author's own path, from being bullied to becoming a powerful coach. It's a structure that lets you tell a really focused and powerful story in just a couple of minutes. So that framework, that's your treasure. That's what gives you the power to share your experience with clarity and with impact. It lets you stop just talking at people and start really, truly speaking with them. So the final question I have for you is this: what's your journey? What's the story that only you can tell?